All right, welcome to another edition of Traffic Jam Sessions. My name is Chris, just a normal guy on my way to work, sitting in traffic on the highway. I figure let's make the most of it. Let's answer a question. Today's question: are boneless wings just chicken nuggets? Okay, this one is kind of hotly debated. You'll see a lot of, you know, debates on the internet, a lot of arguments about this. And it's kind of a yes and no situation on this because from a culinary point of view, they are different. Okay, because chicken nuggets tend to be like ground up or minced up chicken that's kind of reconstituted into uniform shapes and then breaded and fried, right? And you'll see that in your fast food chicken nuggets, they're almost always the exact same size. In chicken nuggets made for children, especially those frozen ones you can get, they're reconstituted into shapes of dinosaurs or whatever they want to do. You know, and in a lot of cases, they're kids' food. Whereas a boneless wing tends to be a whole piece of chicken breast that is breaded and fried, and then tossed, in some kind of sauce or whatever. Chicken nuggets, you usually just get they're usually just plain and dry, and you get a dipping sauce. So, you know, there are definitely similarities, but there are differences too. The boneless wings tend to be better pieces of chicken. They tend to be a better quality product. Um, but some people argue that it's just boneless wings are just a fancy way of talking about chicken nuggets. So it really can go either way. I think they're different because when I think of nuggets, I think of the elementary school cafeteria, or I think of something you pick up at McDonald's, things like that. I think they're different. There was actually a federal lawsuit about this a while back, and a federal judge, somebody had sued one of the leading retailers of wings in this country. You probably know who I'm talking about. But a federal judge ruled that calling them boneless wings was just a marketing choice, and that they're intrinsically, at a you know at a basic level, they're just bite-sized pieces of chicken, whether they're nuggets or whether they're wings. So somebody sued for, I guess, false advertising on that. So so if a federal judge ruled that they're basically the same, then I understand that. But part of me wants to say that boneless wings are more of just kind of a grown up version, an adult version of chicken nuggets. And I actually talked to a friend of mine the other day, and I'll put her little text on here that they absolutely are the same. People don't want to call them nuggets because they feel childish, you know. But I kind of get that point of view because really chicken nuggets are associated with children. I think in a lot of cases, um, but you can get them at fast food restaurants. You can get them at McDonald's. It's one of their combo meals. You can get them at Wendy's. Wendy's are a good quality fast food nugget, really. Chick-fil-A, of course, has them. So I don't think chicken nuggets are just made for children, but I think a lot of them are geared towards children. But and boneless wings are more of a sports bar kind of thing. Um, I enjoy boneless wings, and the reason I eat them is because of a dental implant. So I can't have the regular wings that are on the bone. I have to be very careful about that, you know, personally. So I will always choose boneless wings just to not have that risk, for the bone-in chicken. So but that's just my personal preference. That's what I lean towards. But I never think of them as chicken nuggets. I think of them more as wings. You know, I think just because they're a better quality product, they're tossed in the sauce. It's better chicken. It's not just like ground up chicken that then is put back together and made into shapes. The shapes are irregular in boneless wings, so there's definitely a lot of differences. Um, I so because of that, I'm not inclined to say they're the same thing. So I don't know. It's one of those things that so everybody's going to have their opinion, and it's going to be strongly one way or strongly the other. But I'm of the opinion they're not the same thing. But you may disagree with me. You may think I'm nuts. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you strongly disagree, and let me know what other questions you want me to look into answering. Keep in mind, I'm not going to do controversial stuff. I'm not going to do political stuff. All that. No, no good reason to do that right now. But let me know what you want me to cover. We'll see you next time.